Beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and forms. My life is about bringing out that beauty in everything and helping others do the same. Hello everyone, my name is Jewel. I am the owner, designer, and creator behind Shabby Boutique. If you want to see how I make my creations, the products I use, and how you can create your own home decor from new, thrifted, or found items, then keep watching. Hello, 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 my lovelies. Please forgive me if my voice is a little hoarse sounding. So for today, I am going to be taking a couple of thrifted items and turn those into some kind of dark and moody Christmas stuff using not only the 2026 winter release by IOD, but also some of the stuff from the past. As a matter of fact, I do believe that all the previous winter collections that I use, I do believe that if you go to my website, link in the description as always, that I do still have some of these in stock. I do on purpose. Sometimes IOD, if they still have a lot of stock left, will give us an opportunity to buy, the holiday stuff, since that's all limited edition. And I will purposely go and buy a bunch of it because I know that a lot of crafters start crafting in June and July, and the winter collection doesn't, or the holiday collection never comes out until actually this year I think it was a little early because it was like the beginning of August, and I think usually it's closer to September. I believe even sometimes it's even been closer to October, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so I do go ahead and I purposely buy a bunch so that my June and July crafters that need some holiday stuff that, to start getting crafted, and they need, some IOD and before the release comes out, that they can go ahead and purchase from me. Anyway, so just to let y'all know that for my June and July Christmas crafters, that when you get to that time frame, I will always have some stuff for you. So just letting you know. Anyway, so to start off with today, I have this pizza peel and this picture frame. And again, I'm going to be using let me show you what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Autumn Blessings. This is a previous release. Holly and Pine, that is a previous release. I'm pretty sure I have both of those. But I'm going to marry that with the Stag Tavern Transfer. So we will get started. Okay, the first thing that I need to do is the glass on this. I'm going to be painting and everything right over the glass, and it's a little, not really tight in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my handy dandy glue gun, and I am just going to glue this in place. I'll just kind of hold it down for a second for the glue to cool. But this will kind of hold it in place so it doesn't wiggle all over the place. Especially in like the corners. But this will also help hold the glass in there a little more securely, so that when you paint on it, it doesn't pull from the frame and have issues with the paint. Okay, while that cools off, I'm going to go ahead and start painting our peel. Today I'm going to be using black velvet. You don't normally have to stir the DIY clay-based paint. You do the cottage color because it has the built-in sealer, so that sealer will always come to the top. But for me, it's just kind of a habit, and I like to be thorough, so there's that. Don't forget to dampen your brush a little bit. I'm going to use my little mister bottle. Again, my big mister bottle is upstairs because I'm working on some furniture for some clients, so it's up in my paint room. But you just want to dampen your brush a little bit. For one, it helps keep the paint from drying on your brush bristles, but for two, it helps with what I call paint drag, and that's when you first start painting and it's like the paint isn't really, like, I wouldn't say adhering, but it's just not like giving you that smooth finish. And so I will just, if you spritz your brush a little bit, then I don't know what the science is behind it, but to me it helps. I always keep a little spray bottle of water and a little spray bottle of alcohol because you never know when you're going to need it. But see, my brush is just slightly damp, but it just, for some reason, it helps. Okay, I have one coat. That is one coat. Look at that coverage. For those of you who have never used DIY paint or don't know anything about it, I know there's tons of you out there that do know about it and use it every day like I do. The DIY clay-based paint is one of the only, if not the only, clay-based paint, like truly clay-based paint. It is 9 ingredients, which is essentially clay and pigments. So it is very thick. You can water it down for whatever application. You can use it on anything, including fabrics. Obviously not like clothing that you're going to wash or anything. Although I would like to experiment using that Mod Podge fabric transfer stuff. I can't think of what it's called right now, but anyway, you can like do transfers and stuff on fabric, and I am curious how that would work. If you did a layer of that, did your paint, and then did another layer over top, if that would make it washable, or maybe adding it to the paint. That's an experiment I want to do. Anyway, that's a side note. Tangent, whatever. Anyway, so it is very thick. It covers very, very well. And like I said, you can water it down, you can use it thick, but a little bit goes a long way. And with most of the time, you know, depending on what you're doing, one coat is all you need. Maybe a touch up here and there. It is the weirdest thing when you're painting. You'll see it in some of my other videos. When you're painting, it's like you can see right through it to whatever's underneath, but then by the time it dries, you can no longer see through it. It's so cool. And just always remember that with your clay-based paint, this color will lighten. And then once you seal it, it'll darken again. It won't be as dark as what it is wet, but it's not going to be as light as it is when it's dry. It'll kind of be in between. But I just wanted to show you all that coverage and give you a little info on the DIY clay-based paint. I know there's other paints out there that say that they're clay-based, but they have a minuscule amount of clay in it. And just because they put that minuscule amount of clay in it, then legally they can call it clay paint. But this is actually truly clay-based. So it gives you a nice, hard finish. So like, you know how like if you use craft paint or regular, you know, interior, exterior, latex paint or whatever, you will, if you drop some on here and you go peel it off, it's bendy. With this paint, when it dries, it actually snaps. Same thing with the Sweet Pickins milk paint. It's not bendy, it snaps. So you get a really, really hard finish that is really durable. And that is one of the reasons why I use the DIY clay-based paint as well as the Sweet Pickins milk paint, because I love that nice hard finish that you get. Anyway, on to our next. All right, now that that has cooled off, and I am dropping bits of paint everywhere. As you can see, it's no longer moving around in there, so it's nice and tight. And like I said, I am literally going to just paint right over the glass. You want to make sure you get it in the corners. There's a coat on that. I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then since this isn't completely dry yet, I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun. But I just want to show you that it, I don't know if you can tell that it's lightening up as it dries. But I'm going to use my heat gun to finish drying this real quick so I can put a coat on the other side. Okay, now for a coat on the other side. Now in this one, I am going to put a second coat on here for sure. For one, you're painting on glass, and I can see some of the shininess from the glass coming through. So I want to do another paint on the glass. But this is also like one of those wood frames that's not wood. And so I want to go ahead and put another coat over that as well, since it's not real wood. It's like a sticker over MDF or whatever. Okay, I am going to put a second coat on here, mainly because this was a used pizza meal and there's a lot of scratches in the wood, and then when you put the paint on it, then that brings the fibers of the wood up even more. So what I'm going to do is put a second coat on this side. This is the side I'm going to use, just so that I can sand it down a little bit and kind of get rid of that texture from the scratches from people cutting on it. Like I said, the DIY paint is so thick that you know, when I put that second coat on, it's going to be even thicker, and so then that way I can sand it down a little bit, and then I'll get more of a smooth finish instead of having the roughness from the cut marks and stuff. And if you notice, when I paint, I will do whatever it takes to actually get the paint on there. But once I get the paint on there, then I go back over it and basically smooth out my brush strokes so that at least the brush strokes are going in the same direction. But in the beginning, I'm just trying to get the paint on there. All right, so I will dry this and then we'll be back. Now that this is dry, went over it with my heat gun. The second coat of paint, like, I can honestly barely feel, and I definitely can't see anymore where those cut marks are. So I'll probably just see it a little bit. I feel like a few little burrs here and there. But that's what I'm saying. This paint is so thick that it really covers up a lot of dents, dings, scrapes, you know, in your wood or in your project. And that's another reason why I love the DIY paint. So honestly, I don't even think I'm going to sand it, because I really, there's a few little things, but you don't see it anymore really. And with everything else I'm going to do to it, I think it will be just fine. I'm not even worried about sanding it. Okay, I'm going to take my Holly and Pine stamp. And I'm going to take this one. And move some stuff out of the way here. Okay. So a while ago, I've actually done 2 videos on it, where I do like a black on black technique. That's why I used the black velvet rather than the little black dress for the DIY paint. Normally I would use my IOD ink, but I used it the other day and I don't know what I did with it. So I'm just going to use what I have. Okay, sorry, I had to grab a piece of the grid paper, the carrier sheet from a transfer. So I am going to ink this up, and then I'm going to stamp it. Figure probably like that, and then maybe like that, and then probably around the bottom as well. Now, since the back of these are sticky, I like to take a piece of paper or a piece of transfer paper or just something so that I can go behind and press it in without my hand sticking on the back of the stamp. Okay. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a little something in the background to just add a little bit of depth, detail, 2D texture, whatever you want to call it. Your focal point is going to be your transfer. And I think I'll go ahead and do it around the bottoms as well. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. I'm going to use my heat gun on it, and that will kind of set the ink. And then once I use my heat gun and set the ink, then I will come back because I want to wet distress a little bit around the edges, or I might just sand. I don't know. We'll figure it out whenever I come back. Okay, I've heat set my ink, and I think I am just gonna go ahead and sand a little bit. I don't want to take too much of the paint off, but I do want a little bit of distressing, just to add a little bit more interest. And yes, it can get a little messy when you sand the DIY paint. And it doesn't help that my sanding block is completely coming apart, but it still works. Anyway, so let me clean up this mess and we'll be right back. Okay, so I want to go ahead and seal this in before I put my transfer on. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a matte top coat from Sweet Pickins. Okay, and then I am just going to go ahead and seal in just so the ink gets sealed in. Okay, now that I have the top coat on, this wasn't exactly the best brush, but I forgot I had an event Saturday. This is Tuesday, and I haven't unpacked all of my brushes and everything yet, so I'm working with what I got. Anyway, so after this is dry, I will be back and we'll put the transfer on it. Okay, while the pizza peel is drying, I figure we can go ahead and start working on our picture frame. I'm going to take Autumn Blessings, which again, at the time of filming, I have in stock, I'm pretty sure. And I'm going to take this little banner and I'm going to be stamping that on the bottom like that. And again, we're doing that black on black technique. But you could, since IOD inks, which again, I apologize, I'm not using my IOD ink, I'm just using whatever black ink I could find because like I said, I had that big event and half of my stuff is still packed up. I haven't had a chance to unpack it yet. But if you wanted to do an ink color that would show up on here, you could take our white mixing. Let me back up a second. Okay, so IOD inks come separate from the stamp pads. The reason why they do that is so that you can mix your own colors. So we sell the bottles of ink, and then we also have the empty bottles so that you can, make a batch of ink and, be able to put it on your stamp pad with ease and everything. So, so with that said, you could take any of the IOD ink colors and put a little bit of white in it. And the white has got a pigment in it that makes it more opaque. So you could do a color on top of the black. Now, it's depending on how much of the white ink you put in there, depends on how light or dark it's going to be. But you could do that if you wanted to. I personally like the black on black technique. Like I said, for me, it just adds interest, a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture, whatever, without being overpowering. Just so that, your backgrounds aren't a blank slate. So I love that technique. I've used that technique, like I said, in my graphic design. I've used it, you know, on furniture. I've used it a ton. So as a matter of fact, when I was in advanced in commercial art, I would do pictures that were just literally all black. But, you know, it would have depth and everything, like, you know, like a mountain scene or whatever. And it would just be like, you know, all black. And I would use that kind of black on black technique or whatever. So I would do it like on black paper or on black paint. And I would use like crayons or pencil or watercolor or whatever, and do that black on black technique. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I'm describing it. Anyway, so I'm going to put this here. Let me set this aside. I need this, not the stamp. And then from the Holly and Pine stamp, which one did I say I was going to do? I'm going to take this one. And if you hear anything in the background, I'm in the basement underneath the laundry room, and I think my husband's doing laundry, so you could probably hear some footsteps once in a while. Also, it is storming. I went upstairs to go grab my matte top coat, and I did not realize it was storming. When I came downstairs, it was nice and sunny. So anyway, so I'm going to put this down here, and then this, I'm just going to kind of fill in a little bit over here just to give some interest. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now, I normally pre-stamp everything before I stamp it. I usually have a piece of paper and I will stamp it after I ink it, and then ink it again, and then actually stamp what I'm doing, and I call that priming it. But I don't have a piece of paper handy, so I'm just gonna roll with it. So you ink it up real good. And then I'm going to center it and drop it. You just want to make sure you rub evenly all the way across. And you always want to try to hold it down with one hand as you go across, just to hold the stamp in place as you're doing it. And see how it's lifting up because it's sticky? That is why I do this technique with a piece of paper or something that I can actually rub my hand over or my fingers without messing up the placement of my stamp, because it's not sticking to me as I'm stamping it. All right, there is that. And then also you could do this in gold ink or copper ink, white ink, silver. You don't necessarily have to even do a color or do the black on black look. Okay. And again, that's just to add a little interest in the background, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But again, you can see. Now, obviously, the paint's going to darken whenever I clear coat it, so it won't be quite as noticeable. So I'm going to heat set that with my heat gun. And then I will be back. Okay, I heat that, I can't talk. I heat set that a little bit. I just wanted to make sure, even though it's a permanent ink, I just want to make sure that when I start putting my clear coat on, that it's not gonna like smear it or anything, which it shouldn't, but I'm always a person that thinks of what if. So let's just prevent that from happening. Anyway, I do want to pull back some of the DIY paint. I know it's not real wood, but I still want to kind of get a little bit of the vintage vibe or the distressed vibe. So on this one, I am going to take a baby wipe. And my baby wipes are like super wet. I'm going to wring some of that out because I do not need that much wetness. And then I always cut, I don't use a whole baby wipe, I cut little pieces. So I will put that in the lid in case I do need it. So what helps when you're doing the wet distressing is if you kind of wet the area that you want to distress and let it set for a minute to kind of reactivate the paint a little bit. And then it makes it much easier to distress in the areas that you want to distress. All right, now I will take another piece and with this piece I will just kind of go over it a little bit and pull back the paint away from the parts that I pulled the paint back over. Okay, and then I will dry it real quick. Okay, and then now you're just going to take, this is just a dry paper towel, and I'm just going to kind of rub over those spots that we brought through just to pull any of that kind of paint residue off that we left on those bare spots. Like I said, I just wanted it to have a little bit of an aged look. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over this with my clear coat, my Sweet Pickins matte top coat. Again, just to seal everything in. And my brush got a little dried out, so my clear coat stiffened in the brush. So let's get that cleaned up, and then I will clear coat. All right, so our clear coat is done on that. I'm going to set it aside to dry, and I shall return. Okay, now that this is completely dry, I'm going to take the Stag Tavern Transfer set. And again, I have these. I have not listed them yet. If you're interested in them, let me know, and I will get them listed for putting the transfers in. I'm going to take this owl one. It's the very first one. Grab a transfer stick. And I am going to just put this whole thing right there in the middle. And just to make sure that I get it in the right spot and that it is in the middle, I don't feel like that's the middle. It's a little warped, so it keeps moving on me as I'm trying to get it situated. Okay. I give up. Hopefully this is centered. Anyway, I'm just going to put a piece of tape on there, and that will help hold it in place. And I just realized that that is black, so hopefully that will show up. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go over the whole thing. Just kind of adhere it down. And then I'm just going to start in the corner. And then don't forget that you can always just set it back down if a piece doesn't come up or doesn't come off or stay on, whatever you want to call it. And just like in my lampshade video, Sometimes it's best, instead of using the full thing, just to use the corner, especially on smaller details, smaller areas. And hopefully I'm in view. Okay, I'm already seeing a couple of areas that obviously this wasn't completely dry before I started putting the transfer on. So I will show you how I fix them once I get the rest of this all done. But remember what I said about on smaller pieces of transfer, using the corner if you need to, like especially like I said on fonts and stuff. So lesson learned. I need to wait longer. I get impatient and I want to get it done because I want to see the end result, as I'm sure we all do. Like, I get excited to see what it looks like when it's done, to see if, you know, the vision I had in my head, if it's you know, turns out. Does it turn out like the vision I had in my head, or, you know, does it come out differently? Because that happens a lot too. But see, you can see there's a piece there, and a piece there, and probably that little piece there. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna stick. Yeah, it has paint behind it. So like I said, I will show you when I'm done what I do to fix it. Sometimes putting on transfers when they have a lot of little pieces, like all of this, sometimes kind of becomes a dance where you kind of pull, lift your cover or your carrier sheet, and then you can see where the areas it didn't stick, and you just kind of put it back down, rub it in. Sometimes you can kind of lift as you rub. The main thing is on like these little edges, like on all the wording and stuff. Once you get that bottom section stuck, then you're usually pretty good. Sometimes it's, you know, to get that little bottom piece, like on this T or whatever, you know, stuck down to your project, takes a little finessing, but then once you get it stuck down, then you're usually golden. And for some people, the little places that aren't adhering, I mean, you might like that look, and that's a, you know, a plus in your book. You see, like that little piece there, trying to get that stuck down. Sometimes if you just put your hand underneath it, or come at it from a different angle, sometimes that helps too. Okay, now you can tell the difference between what wasn't adhering just because I didn't rub it enough versus what wasn't adhering because this wasn't dry all the way. See how there's black on the back of the pieces? And like I said, I mean, you can take a look at it and go, you know what? It doesn't really bother me because it just gives it more of a vintage look. Or if you want to fix it, you can use anything from like your top coat that you used to a little bit of Mod Podge, glue, liquid patina, like whatever medium really you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use a little bit of the matte top coat. And you literally just need a drop. And then what I'm going to do is, you don't need much on your finger. I'm just going to go over all those spots that did not stick. Like I said, you can use glue and use whatever you want. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of those little pieces. And I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to rub those pieces in. Real good. I'm going to rub those pieces in. And then I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to let it dry. So we'll be back when that's dry. Okay, so now we have our picture frame. I forgot to mention on the pizza peel that as soon as I noticed that when I started rubbing the transfer in, and I noticed that the paint was coming up in a few places, I immediately stopped. And went ahead and set it aside and let it completely dry. So I went and I ate dinner and everything, you know, came back. So this one is going to be completely dry, so I shouldn't have that issue. If I do, then there's something wrong. But anyway, so getting back to our little picture frame again, I think you can see that. I'm going to again take my Stag Tavern, and I'm going to take in the back, there's this bear, and I love that bear. And we're going to cut that out. And that is what we are going to put on this one. Now, if you wanted to, like I said, the stamping that I did is just a little bit of background, a little bit of, you know, dimension. But if you wanted to, you could use one of our 6x6 stamps that has the letters and stuff in it. And you could stamp something in this little banner if you wanted to. You know, I don't have a need to put anything in the banner, so I'm not going to. Okay, because I am a little OCD, I am going to measure this out and just put a little tick mark where the middle is. And I pretty much have it right there in the middle. Okay, so grab a piece of tape. I reuse my painter's tape all the time, because I usually, if I use a big piece, I mean, it's still sticky, it's still tacky, and for doing stuff like this, it works. So I'm going to hold it in place for me. Oops. Okay. Do an overall little transfer down. But as you can see, since I let this one dry for a couple of hours, that the transfer is coming off way easier compared to the peel. And that's where the patience is a virtue, and I have zero. Like I said, I'm always wanting to get to the end because I always want to see what it looks like when it's done. As much as I enjoy the process, the final piece is what really makes me happy. Just to know that, you know, I created that out of, you know, I think this was a $3 picture frame. And I made something, you know, beautiful that somebody's going to want to, you know, display in their home. And hopefully every time they see it, you know, it puts a little smile on their face that, you know. That's why I always say I love to spread joy around the world, one creation at a time. And the thing that I love about transfers is because, especially for somebody who's like unsure of themselves, or they don't, you know, they're not like a regular crafter and they don't have, you know, anywhere near as much experience under their belt as I do, just a little bit of paint and a transfer creates such beautiful things, you know, and it makes it so super simple for people to be able to, you know, make things for their home or for gifts or whatever, and gives them that sense of accomplishment. And it's so easy. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't take rocket science to do it, you know. So that's one of the reasons why I love transfers, because even the novice can do it. Now see, you can tell, hopefully, that leaf right here did not stick down. So again, the thing I love about transfers is they're pretty much foolproof. And voila. Okay, just one kind of final little all right, and then don't forget to burnish in, which I'm going to use this piece because it's a little bit smaller. Don't forget to burnish in your transfers. Okay. And that is done. But see how the stamping just gives it a little something extra, so it's just not plain. It gives it a little more interest. Okay, so now we're gonna add some clear coat over top of this. Now, since I've already clear coated the picture frame, I don't need to clear coat that. I'm just going to clear coat this inside part. And again, I'm using the Sweet Pickins matte top coat. And like I said before, I do like the liquid patina and the big top, but this has just always been my go-to. And I love it. Now you could wax over this if you wanted to. You don't have to use top coat. There we go. There was a glare, so I couldn't see where I'd already gone over the picture with the top coat. Hopefully I'm not giving you guys a glare. Okay, and this one is done. Okay, now that this one is all dry, I have this fabric that I hand dye and bake, and do it in strips or whatever. And I think the colors go well with that. And since the plain, or the frame, in other words, is so plain, I thought maybe if I added this as a hanger on the top, just to give it a little more color, I guess. So just, kind of glue it to the back, something like that. So we're going to do that. Okay, so first things first, I just need to see how much. I don't know, I kind of want to tie it in a knot just to give a little more interest, and then hang it. Like I said, just to give it, a little more interest. Let me see. Just kind of lay that down just to kind of see what we think. I don't know. Me personally, I think it looks better than just the piece of fabric. So we're going to do that. All right. So I'm going to measure. So that's 10 inches. To go ahead and cut the end. And then kind of figure out where I want it. Don't want it too terribly long. So I'll go 2 inches in. And that is the actual middle for lining up the bow. Okay, I just need to wait for my hot glue gun to heat up, and then we will glue that on. Okay, we're just gluing it on. I put a couple of marks, a mark here, 3 inches in. I've got my 2-inch mark here, and then also for the length, I have one that the point should go there. So all those should kind of line up. So that, and hopefully this is in the middle. So it'll hang like that. And I think it just adds a little bit more color just to kind of bring it to life a little bit. I thought about maybe putting a little bit of gold just on the black. But I kind of want to stay minimalistic with this because it's kind of more on the dark and moody side, more masculine. So but I like that. I think it looks good. It just brings out some of the red and some of the cream and just kind of ties everything together. Then I'm going to take a piece of cardstock, the craft cardstock, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun and glue this to the back to finish it off. Okay, so we'll start here. Just put a little bit in the corner. Okay, then you have a nice finished back. I use the craft paper a lot, but on smaller frames like this, if I can get away with using the craft sheet cardstock, I will. I did have to cut like a 1/2 inch off the bottom of an 8.5 by 11 sheet, but I like the fact that it's thicker. But there you go. Okay, and then back to our peel. So all those little places that I added the clear coat to re-adhere the transfer. Sorry, to re-adhere the transfer pieces that stuck to the carrier sheet and pulled the paint off. Whenever you're pulling that up, you want to kind of roll it like this, like you do with tape. Whenever you're like if you tape stripes on a wall or something like that, and as you're peeling back the tape, you want to peel it, you know, directly behind kind of a little bit of an angle. And that's basically the same thing that you're going to do. You're just going to slowly roll. If you see that that little piece you were trying to adhere is stuck, then you maybe want to take your fingernail a little bit and roll it back down, and or kind of roll it off and glue it. Oh my gosh, glue it back down. But like I said, you just want to go like that. So I had a couple of pieces that still stuck. I don't even know where that piece came from because that's not even where it's supposed to be. But I did have a few pieces that went ahead and came off, like right here. But other than that, it's good. And then we're gonna burnish it and clear coat it, and then probably put some more of that red and white fabric on here to tie it up with. And then this one will be done as well. Again, using my matte Sweet Pickins clear coat to go over it. Okay. And since we already clear coated the rest of it, I'm just mainly doing it over the transfer and then just kind of feathering out the edges so that it blends in with what we've already clear coated. All right, so I will be back when this I will be back after this dries. Oh my gosh. Whew, today's a hard one. All right. All right, now that this one is dry, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. I just took a piece of that same fabric that I used on the other, the picture frame with the bear on it. Just took a piece of that and ran it through the hole just so you can hang it up, and just tied a knot at the top. And then with the rest of my fabric, I'm going to, this is the selvage edge, so I'm going to cut that off. And then fray it a little bit. And fray that a little bit. And then I'm going to take this, oops, and just tie a simple knot again, just to add a little bit more color. So I will just tie that to the top, and then I'll probably add a little bit of hot glue just to hold it down a little bit, since it's kind of wanting to bend a little bit. But there you go. And even though the lettering is black, it still shows up, kind of like our black on black technique. So I was worried it wouldn't show up, but I think it turned out great. I love it. I love the kind of dark and moody. And honestly, even though this is kind of geared towards Christmas, I would say that these are, you know, all year long pieces. I would not say that these are specifically for Christmas at all. I love them. I love how they turned out. So, all right, well, let me know what you think. Which project did you like the best? Are you thinking about getting the Tavern or Stag Tavern Iron Orchid transfer after seeing this? Again, don't forget that I do have a lot of the old stock of Christmas that I just put out in the end of June in my website. So if you are interested in any of the older transfers, stamps, paint inlays, all that stuff, I don't have much left in a lot of the more popular ones, but I do have at least 5 or 6 left of, I believe, the stamps and stuff that I use today. So they're going fast though. I will say that. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed your time with me. I hope you learned something new. Again, I love to teach, and I hope, you know, that I was able to teach you something. I love the black on black technique. I think that, you know, like I said, it just brings it out a little more detail, a little more depth, just so it doesn't look so flat, I guess you could say. So if you guys made it this far, let's see, what kind of emoji shall we do today? Leave me a present emoji. That's what we'll do today. If you guys made it this far, leave me a present emoji. And I guess until we meet again, I will bid you all adieu. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and until the next one, bye. Let me know what you think of this project, and if you have any questions or something in particular you would like to see me make, or a product in particular you would like to see me use, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you ever so much for watching, and until we meet again, have a most serendipitous day. Hugs to all. Love, Jewel.